So Terrence, tell us about how Middleton Center kind of came about. What was the inspiration behind it?
Sure. Well, this area of downtown was historically, brickyard, lumberyard, the heavy industry. And the city very wisely in the 70s created a TIF district. And they said, we want to redevelop this into a new retail and office zone. And so they did that. And a guy named Ron Gross built 6 buildings here, 2 stories each. It was kind of like the first iteration of the redevelopment of downtown Middleton. And so those buildings were full when they started, but 35 years later, they became much more empty. They didn't have elevators, they weren't ADA compliant, they weren't really up to snuff in terms of all the modern amenities. So it was heavy vacancy. And the city came to me and said, we'd like to do this again. We'd like to redevelop the downtown again. And could you purchase this complex of buildings and tear them down and start over? And Mike Davis, the city administrator, was really the visionary for that. And I said yes, and so I worked out a deal and bought the properties. We did redevelop. We have over 220 units here, and we have 88,000 square feet of office and retail space in buildings that range 3, 4, and 5 stories and underground parking. And we took this area, which was a tax base of about $4.5 million, and we turned it into something that's worth over $80 million.
I was like, what were some of the kind of universities that you face in planning something like this?
Sure. Well, downtown here is, you're in the heart of the city. You've got to deal with neighbors and their concerns. And we had a neighbor who has a recovery center over here, and they were very concerned about pounding when we were pounding the pilings in to the ground, because that makes noise, it makes vibration, we actually went around and we offered, and we videotaped anybody who would let us into their house. We videotaped the interior of their house, including their basement foundation walls, so that we could do a before and after and demonstrate that if somebody had a crack, we would know because we videotaped beforehand.
Yeah. And
our warranty was, hey, if you let us into videotape and something happens, we'll be responsible for it. But if you don't let us into videotape, which one old lady did, we will not be responsible, and you can't claim that we are responsible. And so we did actually do that for everybody except one party that didn't let us in the house. But that was one thing. The railroad track is here. You've got people driving cars, roads. You've got people living here, shopping here, going to restaurants. All of this had to be maintained around us while we tore the buildings down. We did it in 3 phases.
Okay. So what phase are we in? It's all 3 phases are built out? Or
yes, all 3 phases are now complete. And we're standing underneath the clock tower. My office here is in the clock tower. And one other thing that we did, which I think is very special, which if you take a look out here, you'll see what I call the town square. And they call that Stonehorse Green. And it is now a green space, a pocket park for the city of Middleton and downtown. So they used to hold events. They would close the streets. It's very inconvenient. Now what they can do is hold events every Thursday or Friday or Saturday, all summer long. There's something going on every week in the town square, whether it's a concert or a performance or something, a play, whatever, movie night. It's really exciting because it brings people downtown. So I've always said I like to build new communities. I like to do things, some philanthropic things as part of that. So it was actually my architect's idea to buy those 4 old houses, which were being leased out as commercial space, like the hair salons. They weren't occupied for housing. So I bought the houses that were there, and I literally got on the backhoe myself and tore those houses down myself. And we went to the city and say, hey, how about this vision? And at first, honestly, they were totally against it. I think primarily because the developer proposed it.
Yeah,
it's got to be bad. So then Abby, the new city staff member, actually, she embraced it, and she helped sell it to the city. It was her vision of helping to give this vision to the park, the town square, and get it sold. And so I sold the property, I also donated part of it, and then they also did some fundraising and came up with a plan to have a community square that we can host events in. And, these are public events, so people come from all over the community here. And it draws people in. It's tourism. It's a great thing for the city now.
And drawing people from different communities as well.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I know a place where we can go.
we're going to take a look outside, show you the newbie, what this development is all about. So we talk to our investors so you can explain things.
So this is like the main intersection that you're standing right here?
Yeah, this is like Main and Main for Middleton. And we were in the clock tower right up there before, above us. And so we cleared this whole area of buildings, old buildings, and we built, this is the first phase, and then the second phase is building at the end of the street. We brought in a coffee shop, Grace Coffee. They do phenomenal, long line on Saturday and Sunday mornings. And we have realtors, we have builders in here, we have little courtyards, European style phone booth. My favorite is get little businesses like this. Journeyman is it's a one-man shop. He runs it, he owns it, and he sells made in America products, clothing, and has done a terrific job. Women's boutique store here, also very nice. We encourage them to bring product out onto the sidewalk, activate the street on the sidewalk.
So how important is tenant mix to your developments?
Really, really important. We used to have a few more product offering retailers because we wanted to have more product, more stuff for sale. But then COVID came and the stores closed for a while, and so some of them went out of business, so we replaced them. But most of it survives. We helped them out with some free rent, full rent, help them transition. Long Table here has been around since the debut. Nice restaurants. We have a fitness center here, a bank. This is our entrance over here for the apartments. We do have the underground parking. We put out for tables and chairs for like people to sit out in the courtyard. We have a little dog walk here. We built a sort of train station architecture. Like you're pulling up on a train and you're waiting for the train in the train station. Rather than turn our backs architecturally on the railroad, we forced it out and incorporated it into the design of the building. Little things like these steel facades and balconies, those cost extra. All these little things cost extra. But when the whole thing comes together, it really looks great. And it's been a huge success for downtown. Let's look at the town square. This is the town square, what they call Stonehorse Green. They have a fire pit there. Type of a van, play underneath the van shell. Here they have bathrooms in the back. And if they want, they can still close this street and bring in food cart vendors or artists, whatever they'd like, to have a bigger event than just the town square itself.
Was there a certain atmosphere that you try to capture when you planning this?
Well, we worked with the city, and the city hired a planner. They had some unusual plans. One plan was sunken in the ground, like, well, that's going to turn into a swimming pool when it rains. You can't do that. They had another one where it was up like 10 or 12 feet, and I'm like, okay, how's the band going to get up the hill?
Line.
Yeah, that's not going to work. So my goal was to get something flat, because if you bring in artists or a band, or you bring in guards, to bring in whatever event you want, you need to have a flat level ground where you can plan and stage these events.
So you were trying to bring it,
active. Yeah, practical, very able to be staged, have different organizations, even private organizations could use it, right, if they sign off to the permit. But the whole idea is I want it to be very active, and I don't want anything physically in the way of making that possible, right? So they have a gas fireplace in there, and lighting, and a stage. So that allows you to bring in band or singers, artists to come in and
I know a place where we can go. I know a place where we can go. safe, where we are known. I know that there's no place like home. I know a